This video feels so overdue. I'm very excited about this one actually, because in a world that is, we're awakening. You can't ignore the fact that there is an awakening going on. And everybody's talking about conspiracy theories. They're freaking out about all the what ifs or all of the just rabbit holes. And now I will admit I'm somebody who does the rabbit holes as well. So I get it. But I feel like there's so much fear, so much panic, so much stress, so much unknown that it doesn't really do us any good to feel overwhelmed by it. What my aim is today is to simplify it in a sense where we can do something about it, right? I'm not here to simplify the awakening. I just mean simplifying how you can navigate this as just an everyday person living your life. What do you do with something like all the craziness of the planet? I'm going to give you some very, very simple ways to look at your own personal self differently, because when we realize that we are the ones that create the change that we want to see, it gives you so much power, and you realize, oh my gosh, there's actually nothing I need to fear, nothing I need to worry about, because I am in control of my own reality. Now that sounds bypassy, that sounds very much okay, well, you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world. And the truth is, I think in order for people to live more at peace, it really takes not being so present externally, but becoming more present internally and asking yourself, how can I shift? What do I need right now? What is internally going on that's making me feel really ungrounded or chaotic, or feeling like this world feels like too much? Now, there are things that are going on externally that are crazy, and sometimes it's good to acknowledge them and be like, okay, yeah, that is going on, and to process as much as you can what you're feeling by actually feeling it. But then it gets to a point where it's if you sit in all of that too much, you don't have a life anymore. You literally give all of your power away, and it sucks. It's not enjoyable. And I'm saying this not as somebody who's preaching at you, but somebody who is day by day navigating this as well. Even showing up today, I had such a busy morning. I got up really early, and we had an event day. And now, for those of you that don't know, I do chakra and aura readings. I'm a professional intuitive, I'm a life coach, and I'm an astrologer. And I do all of this because my whole goal is to try to help people navigate their internal world through presenting data, whether it's an astrology chart or your chakra graph. And I'm just trying to help people understand their inner world so that you can better navigate your outer world through the knowledge you have of understanding internally what's going on, and you start to trust your journey. You start to feel like there is a divine plan to this whole thing. And to be honest, I'm somebody who's also navigating this, but what I found is super helpful is to allow yourself to not get swept up in the external, not allow yourself to feel crazy, but to feel things and move on. Feel things and move on. And so let's back up for a second. So when I say the awakening, what do I even mean? Because if you're gravitating towards this channel, and if you're liking it so far, thank you for subscribing. That is such a big help as I'm starting to, post more consistently. So I just want to throw that thank you in there. But yeah, if you've been connecting with this content so far and the words awakening, you really just resonate with that because you get it, then, I'm not saying anything you haven't heard, but really the awakening, right, the whole planet is shifting. And we've been in an evolution of this awakening, I think, for years. I think even before 2020. I really think there was layers of people just becoming aware and seeing things more clearly that they weren't able to see before. Suddenly, it's eyes are newly opened. We're understanding this world and this life experience as a game. We're not seeing it as something that we're trapped by anymore. We're starting to question the rules, and more and more and more and more people are doing this. So you're not crazy, you're not alone. But what I always like to explain to people is that in order for life to become a new normal, right? The upheaval has to happen. There has to be an unearthing of the old to create a brand new foundation. And that unearthing is messy. It's gross. It's bringing up the shadows. It's bringing up stuff that we weren't necessarily looking at or facing, or allowing ourselves to even go there before. That's all coming up, but on a massive scale, on a massive collective scale. This is happening, right? So that's why it's taking years. It's gonna take decades. It's been taking decades. It's been a slow burn of cohort after cohort after cohort, like slowly seeing things in a different way, and it's been really messy. But I think more than ever, more people are starting to tune in to the reality of what life doesn't have to be anymore. And what we're starting to move into is more of this 5D consciousness, right? Collective of people who are tuned in to a bigger purpose, a bigger meaning, real sense that there's co-creation happening. It's not about the individual so much anymore as it is understanding that in order for the divine to create, it needs sometimes a vessel. It needs sometimes a vessel to move through in order to create heaven on earth, to create a beautiful world that we can all live in peacefully. It doesn't just happen on an individual level, but it happens in a co-creative way. So I believe that our world is starting to become more and more and more in this awakened state, and that's what we're seeing now. So then it's like, okay, so the thing is, when it comes to your awakening, right, like everybody's at different points of this journey. Everybody is at a different place in their awakening. Some people in the same house have literally like never even thought of waking up before. And then there's other people in the same house that are like so awake, they feel like their third eye is showing. They're like, how are you not here yet? And it's tough. And then you've got people, you know, in your friend group that are starting to bring up things that they've never thought about before. And you're like, whoa, who is this person? And so you're like, I don't even feel like I know the people in my life anymore that have been here this whole time. Or like you're starting to see things different, and then you're connecting with other people who are starting to see things different, and you're starting to have these new like interests and things that you want to experience in your life and trying new things. Or maybe you're feeling like completely none of that, and you're like, no, I just want to be a recluse and hide from the world. To be honest, I'm feeling more of that recluse. So it's funny that life is like, no, but show up anyways, like do this YouTube thing, show up online, like do this thing. I'm like, that is so opposite of what I want to do right now. So we've got this whole mix of just weird energies, quote unquote weird, because it's uncomfortable and it's not what has been the normal status quo of everybody just kind of flowing and doing life how they felt called to do it in their same routine, same rhythm over and over and over again. So as this shift is happening, it can be so ungrounding in so many ways. And so I want to tell you, as you continue to watch this video, it's like, you're not crazy and you're not alone. Like what you're feeling is real. You are genuinely so tuned in to the vibration of the shifts and the changes, because you're probably an empath, but also you're an energetic being. Let's remember, we're all energetic beings at the core of who we are. That's it. It's like energy. And so energy feels energy. It's internally, it makes sense that you would be feeling a little bit like off kilter, off balance. So what do you do with all of this? I really want to give you like an idea of how to navigate the crazy, because it's overwhelming. It feels sometimes like too much, and it doesn't have to feel that way. And so that's a big thing that I want to talk about today, is how to get your power back in very approachable, simple ways throughout this whole thing. And it's really taking me to the core of what I do in my work, is the chakras. And I think the chakras are one of the most, like, I don't know why, they're just like very underestimated. It's kind of something that like everybody acts like they already know everything about them, but they don't really understand quite how important they are. The chakras are your energy centers that literally touch your body, and they impact every part of your life, whether like your sleep, your health, your overall sense of well-being. You think of like your root chakra all the way to your crown, and I know there's many more chakras, but I'm talking about the main 7 ones that directly touch the body, right? All of those have specific jobs that they do. And when we can understand that everything's energy, we are energy, you've probably heard that before, right? Everything's energy. Like, why would you not want to be on top of your energy centers? Like, why would you not want to continue to learn how to master those so you can create most sovereignty in your life? There is a way to do that, and it's by connecting with the chakras. So there's so much I can say, and I don't want this to be a really, really long video. I just want to kind of high level overview, a reminder of the chakras for you, because I think this is going to help you start to rebuild a relationship with them and bring them back into your life if it's something like you feel like you've already mastered. Because if you're saying that, then chances are you haven't mastered them, especially if you feel like your life is chaotic, especially if you feel like the world events, they're kind of dictating how you feel about your life on a daily basis. Like, that means you need to go back to the basics, back to the chakras, back to the core, the root of your inner self is your energy centers, right? Energy centers, the chakras, quite literally flow life force through the body. Now, they're all connected. They're not in these separate wheels like we can kind of paint them to be, but they are all interconnected. They're all flowing in and actually around you. They go front, back, side to side. They are your power centers to literally owning your life in the most empowered way. And one of the biggest ways you can even just tap into them is through intention, through remembering that you have access and availability to these at all times. So let's just start kind of working our way up from the root to the crown, because I always like to tell people you want a root to rise. Let's start with the root. Now, the root is going from like the hips down. It's really like the trunk of the body, right? It's your legs, your knees, your feet, your toes, like the lower half of you, your roots into being connected to the earth, right? Is literally your direct connection to the ground. But also it symbolizes everything that creates inner and outer stability in our life. So everything from like health and nutrition to career and money to our closest community, and like whether that's our friends, our family, our partner, right? It's such a crucial part of our overall sense of well-being. And if your root is off, that so many people have an imbalanced root, and they feel really lost and stuck in life, and they feel confused, and they feel this is where a lot of people get a lot of anxiety, stress, overwhelm, depression. It can create so many things if it's not balanced. And so ways that you can get into that, something that I like to do is I actually like to bring in the archangels. I like to bring in specifically Archangel Sandalphon, and I will ask before I meditate or before I just start my day, I will breathe. And honestly, you can do this within a couple of seconds. You don't even have to meditate. I always just say, after I take a couple breaths, I say, thank you, Archangel Sandalphon, for grounding me into the hollow earth. And then I'll ask Archangel Michael to surround me with a blue shield of protection. But we're just talking about grounding. And I ask Archangel Sandalphon to ground me into the hollow earth and to just really anchor and root me in to a sense of calm, a sense of peace, and really root me into my knowing of who I am and sense of security and safety as I walk about the world. You know, sometimes we forget that we've got a team. We've got so much support and help around us, and you don't have to do it alone. And really calling in and working with your chakras in this way is a beautiful way to do that. But you can also connect with any of these chakras with specific colors. So the root is specifically red, or really anything grounding. Like, I like to think of, I'm connecting to the root anytime I'm connecting with the earth. If I'm picking up like dirt or touching a tree or literally sitting on the ground like I'm doing now, I'm like, I feel rooted, I feel planted, I feel just more calm and centered in my being. You can also connect with your root through cooking, right? Through anything that feels like meditative practices within your physical vessel. So then we get to your sacral. Now, your sacral is more about like in the reproductive organs or just like the sexual organs, you know, and then your lower back, your hips, and even a little bit of the lower belly. And this is all about representing pleasure, play, being really present in your life, allowing yourself to be creative. It's like this inner child energy, but it's also receivership energy, and where the root is one of the masculine energies, sacral is one of the feminine energies. It's a creative center of expression. It's important to nurture this because otherwise you don't really feel this like vitality to your life. There's kind of a sense of dullness, of seeking fun, of feeling like you never have time for fun. And so ways that you can nurture this are literally with the color orange, eating orange foods, but also breathing into that space, really connecting with that space. There's also a ton of yoga moves you can do, but just really connecting with the sense of receiving, allowing life to give to you And it can feel uncomfortable to receive, but ways that you can practice that are through having gratitude and appreciation as you move about the world, or really intentionally saying thank you to people and experiences. I always, in the morning, now, this is one of my non-negotiables, is I say thank you to the food I'm about to consume. And then that slows me down enough to find pleasure in eating it. And then I enjoy it so much more, but that also gives me sacral points, because I'm like, oh, I'm like really soaking in this like pleasure-filled experience right here. And it doesn't have to be sexual, right? It's very much a sensual experience, the sacral. So you can remember it that way. Sensual sacral, sexy sacral. And then when we move up to the third chakra, now we're in the womb area. The solar plexus, it sits right under the heart, and it is more of that upper belly area, and it's yellow. It's like the sun. It's just so, it's a lot of vitality energy, and it's all about personal power. It's about confidence. It's about knowing who you are in the world and what you're moving towards in your life, right? It's about having all this ambition to move your goals forward. So it's a very empowered, confident energy. It's also, you know, where your ego sits. It's that gut feeling you get. It's the who you want to be in the world. So it's a big one. So you can really work on this through affirmations, but just honestly building yourself up as you're moving about the world, reminding yourself like, I do got this, and following through on the things you say you're gonna do. So even if it's a really small thing, even if it's literally like, I said I was gonna send that email, or I said I was gonna do the dishes, I said I was gonna do the laundry, I said I was gonna give my cat a bath, you know, it's like whatever it is, actually doing it, because that builds a reward system in the brain that it's fun. What's cool is that it doesn't actually matter the size of the reward. It all reads the same in the mind. So it behooves you to stack even just small things, because then that builds a sense of self-trust within. So that is going to help nurture your solar plexus energy and have you feeling more empowered. And normally for me, when I can feel my solar plexus activating, my stomach gets really hot. Not in a nerves way, just in a, ooh, I can tell my confidence is starting to come up a notch. I can tell that I'm doing something that is improving my sense of self. My self-worth is starting to activate, and it's empowering. So I want you to think solar plexus, sun, empowering, vitality, just this invigoration to make your life happen. Can you see how important this energy is? We then move up to the heart space, and of course, right, the heart is all about love, compassion, kindness, self-love. And the biggest things I like to tell people are that if you are feeling like your heart is low, or you just have this melancholy energy, you feel sad, you feel like you're longing for something, grieving something, one of the best things you can do is realize that the heart grows as we pay attention to ourselves, as we give ourselves more love through asking ourselves things like, what actually matters to me? What would make me feel most alive right now? What would make me feel like, yes, this is what I want to do in my life, and I would feel so fulfilled by it? Like, when we actually spend time asking ourselves these questions, that improves our quality of life. That actually allows us the opportunity to see that more is possible for ourselves. We start stepping into the sense of acceptance of actually what we want, and we allow ourselves to say, okay, even though I have no idea how I would do this, I feel so convicted that it's what I want. And you start to see the possibilities for yourself, and you start to feel like you're not stuck anymore. And it's this momentum that builds. So the heart space is so important. I tell people all the time, like, look up the Heart Math Institute, and it's just a website, and they have free heart coherence videos on there. I think it's called like the heart coherence section or something on their website. Joe Dispenza works a lot with them to show the science behind the power of the heart and energy in general in the body. So I recommend looking up the heart coherence videos and tapping into the heart space through those 5 or 10 minute long videos. They're very quick. They will help you activate the heart. But past that, right, asking the most important questions, which are like, what do I even want? And that will help you tune into your authenticity. The thing about the heart space is that it is really where our authenticity lies. And when the heart is just blocked in any kind of way, we're not actually able to access our authenticity. We are keeping ourselves from being our fullest self because we can't actually tune into that energy within. You can never go wrong getting into the heart space, just breathing into the heart space, connecting with what brings you joy, asking yourself questions that are around true fulfillment. That is going to tap you in. So then we get to the next one, which is the throat, which is actually it's a bridge, right? It's the bridge between the body and the mind, the lower chakras and the higher chakras. It's like, I like to say it's like I think Sonia Choquette said this, where she said, the throat is the chimney to the heart. So if your heart is closed off, like there's nothing that can come through the chimney. And if your throat is closed off, like there's nothing that can make it from the authentic heart space up into the mind, into the third eye, into the crown, into like really, the thoughts that are actually going to benefit you. So the throat is actually really important. And people, I think, just think, oh, I just got to speak my truth and I can activate it. But really the throat is about trusting yourself and vocal expression, yes, but also allowing yourself to speak from the heart. Like it's a very intentional process with connecting to the throat. Now, you can connect to the throat literally through humming or just some vibration on the throat. Also essential oils like peppermint are really nice on the throat. Actually, I love essential oils for all of the chakras, but specifically the throat. I think some like peppermint, chamomile, it's always really nice on the throat space. Which after talking for so long right now, I'm like, that actually sounds really nice. I might go use some. I should have brought my little oils to share with you. And then moving right along, so then we get to the third eye, and the third eye, right, is about our vision, our sense of clarity and knowing who we are in the world and what we stand for, what we want to bring to life. And it's also about trusting ourselves as we move, because we've got this inner compass that's clear. There's so many ways to tap into your third eye. I actually have a book that I will recommend to you. It's literally called like Third Eye Awakening, but I'll put it in the show notes because I actually just binged that book in a day because it's like 80 pages. It's super quick and it's just really cute. And it talks about all these different ways to activate your third eye. But more than anything, like all of these activations are possible through just pure intention to work with that part of yourself. I hope you can see what I'm doing here is like the awakening that you're navigating in this time right now is something that you're going to navigate easier by focusing on yourself and your vessel first, by focusing on the power that you do have, which is your own energy centers, by activating these, by staying on top of these and keeping them as balanced as you can through your daily rituals, your daily life. Like you will see your life improve, and you will also notice that you have less attachment to the outside circumstances. Now, this is something I'm also still working on, but I notice that every time that I actually do this stuff and I really focus on the pure intention of connecting with myself and my body and each energy center, each of the primary energy centers, my life gets so much dramatically better. To wrap it up, right, we've got the third eye, which is just really about, I would say meditating is the fastest way to connect with that energy, but just like by tapping into it, right, like waking it up a little bit, talking to it, reading, journaling, sitting in stillness, allowing thoughts to flow through. So many things. I feel like I'm just trying to make this not like super elongated, but let this be like your gateway to just get curious about all of these. And then the crown, right, is very similar to the third eye. It's really just, I would say the crown is different than the third eye in the sense that it's really your direct line to the divine. It's your channel. It's your channel because your crown is the highest point of the body. It's how the divine can directly enter the body. So it's a big one. It's your connection to whether it's God or your higher self or the universe, whatever you call it. I say God, but whatever it is for you, allowing it to enter through having an open crown, through prayer, again, just stillness, meditation, more quietness, asking questions for asking for divine guidance and actually pausing and reflecting enough to hear the answers. Sometimes we're praying so much and we're moving so fast that we forget to listen. We think, oh, well, I tried, I did like a couple minute meditation. I tried and I didn't hear anything. It's like, it's not how it always comes in. Honestly, I like to say meditation is clearing the channel, but it's not actually the time you're meant to receive. Now, I've been doing it for so long that I start to receive during my meditations, but it's really meant to just clear the channel. Clear your channel so that way when you're moving about your world, you're more able to receive as you're just living your life, being in more of that high vibration that you set yourself up to be through your meditation. So I hope that these can be helpful for you. If they've been helpful, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for joining this community. It's growing, and I'm so excited to just continue to share things like this that have just genuinely helped me in my own journey. And I think they can help you and others like you as well, because we're all in this together. We're not alone. I love you very much, and I'm so grateful that you're here.